John Ulzheimer is known as one of our nation's most recognized credit experts. Having worked for 28 years in the credit industry, John has become one of the most prolific speakers about credit and the go-to authority on answers to credit-related questions. Credit Countdown with John Ulzheimer.
Hello, my name is John Ulzheimer, and I am a consumer credit expert. I have spent time with both FICO, the credit scoring company, and Equifax, one of the generally recognized national consumer credit reporting agencies. And today's video, I'm going to discuss how authorized user trade lines or accounts that have been added to your credit report or credit reports might be factored by any of the credit scoring systems that consider trended data. So let's unpack that a little bit so that we can be on the same page. Trended data is information on your credit reports that indicates how you have managed the payment of an account over the past 24 months. Some people call it time series data, some people call it trended data. Basically, it's the history of your payments over the past 24 months. This is not whether or not you made the payment on time. This is what the balance was, what the minimum payment requirement was, and what your actual payment was. And so if you were to go pull your own credit reports at annualcreditreport.com, for example, some of your credit card accounts are going to have a 24-month chronology of how that account was paid with respect to the balances and minimum payments and actual payments. Every credit scoring model prior to FICO 10T, as in Tom, that's a T, and VantageScore 4 didn't focus on that information. So this trended or time series chronology of your payments was not considered in these general use credit scoring models. FICO 10T and VantageScore 4 do consider that trended data information, and it is influential in those particular scores. So let's talk about how it might be influential and why it's important. The primary benefit of trended data is that it allows someone who's looking at your credit report to see more than just kind of the snapshot in time picture of the account based on when your credit report was pulled. So think of looking at a credit report and looking at a credit card on your credit report. It shows some dates, it shows your credit limit, it shows your balance as of your prior month's statement, and that's kind of it. There's some other stuff obviously, but as far as the really big meaty pieces of information, that's really where it ends. Trended data allows someone who's looking at your credit report to know what the balance was on that account for the prior 2 years, what the minimum payment requirement was over the prior 2 years, and what your actual payment was over the prior 2 years. And so instead of being a very flat picture of your credit card account, it's actually a deeper look into the history of how you manage that account. So what it allows someone to do, including a credit scoring system, is to determine, are your balances going up over time? Are they going down over time? Or are they staying relatively stable over time? Are your payments going up in an amount? Are your payments going down in the amount? Is your payment requirement going up or going down? And then some of the ratios that are very important in your credit scores. So what is your balance to limit ratio doing over time? Are you staying relatively low, a low balance to limit ratio, which is really nice? Or do you heavily leverage your cards every single month? Which means that you're pretty heavily leveraged all the time. And finally, the value of trended data also allows someone who's viewing your credit report or credit scoring system to know whether or not you revolve a balance month over month or whether you transact. And let me tell you the difference between those two things. If you have a credit card account and you have a balance on that account, you get a statement at the end of the month or your end of your statement cycle, and you have a choice. You can either pay all of the amount off in full, or you can pay some amount less than that. You can either pay what's called the minimum payment, which is a small percentage of what you actually owe, or you can pay some amount between the minimum and the full amount. So really, as long as you pay at least the minimum, then the credit card issuer is happy. But you can certainly pay the whole thing off, or you can pay some amount between the minimum payment and the full balance amount. If you are paying something less than the full amount, then you're what's referred to as a revolver, okay? You're revolving, or you're carrying some amount of a balance month over month over month, and the APR, or the interest rate, is being applied to that amount, and that interest is being added to your balance the following month. And that's where credit card debt can start to become fairly expensive. If you pay your balance in full every month and just use your card again, you're what's referred to as a transactor. And so let me give you a real simple example of what that might look like. Let's say that you charge $500 this month in your credit card, and you get a bill in the mail and you pay $500. But by the time you've paid it, you've already used the card some more. And so now next month you're going to have a $400 bill, but you pay $400. But again, the next month you're going to get a $800 bill and you pay $800. So you're a transactor. You don't revolve or carry any amount of the balance month over month, which is great because it's good for two reasons. Number one, the trended data on your credit report is going to show that you pay in full every single month, which is nice because credit scoring systems like FICO 10T and VantageScore 4 like to see that. And number two, you're not paying interest because there's nothing to apply an interest rate to. So your interest rate on your credit cards really becomes irrelevant. It's almost like it's for entertainment purposes only, because it doesn't really matter what your interest rate is. It could be 17%, it could be 29%. It doesn't matter because there's no balance to apply that interest rate to, and therefore you're not paying any interest. And so think about that when you open a credit card or where you're added to an account as an authorized user. It would be nice if you're added to a credit card that is paid in full month over month, or otherwise has a relatively low balance relative to the limit, because that information is going to be seen by scoring systems. And even if the account is paid in full every single month, or even if the account is paid on time every single month, what you want to avoid is you want to avoid having your name associated with a credit card account that is heavily leveraged month over month, because that isn't necessarily the most beneficial credit card for your credit scores. So you can always check your credit reports at annualcreditreport.com and see what that trended data looks like, and you'll know if this card is being paid in full month over month, or if there's a balance every single month that's carried forward. And that's something that you should consider before you have your name associated with any account. I appreciate you watching. If you have any questions or comments, go ahead and put them in the comment section below, and I'll do my best to get to them. Thanks for watching. Have a great rest of your day.
For more videos and credit tips from John Ulzheimer, go to www.tradeline supply.com.